This is Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is chapter number 20, that is called as Basic Elements of Planning. It's almost the last chapter of your management course. And once we talk about the whole management process, so controlling process comes when all the activities are being done, and it actually include two type of activities. One is evaluation, monitoring, evaluation, and and taking corrective action. So once the managers make plans, and these plans are being executed with the help of organizing, monitoring, organizing, motivating, leading. There is a time when the manager has to assess that whether the planning are effectively executed or not, or whether there are problems in the planning themselves. So that is the purpose of controlling, in which the executions, the activities which are being done are compared with the activities which are being planned, and planning and execution are being evaluated and monitored, and find out the deviations in order to find that whether the things are being done according to plan or not. And if they are not being done, it has to be it is the function of your managers to find out whether there is a problem in the planning, or the problem lies in the execution process. So everything has to be evaluated, and corrective actions are being done. That might be assigning new resources, updated resources to employees, or increasing time limits for certain activities, or in other words, if there are everything are being correct and there are problem in the manager, so taking corrective action by giving them warning, and depending upon the circumstances, you can take corrective actions. So that is the major purpose of controlling. Control is actually a very important function of the organization, and obviously when there are planning, there are activities, when the manager they are actually regulating each and every activity of the organization. So control is an issue which is being faced by every manager, because they have to have control over different activities. So how does this controlling function help a manager? So actually it's a process which help to regulate different activities of the organization, and to make make them consistent with established plans, targets, and standards. Obviously there are different plans, so you want to accomplish that plan and accomplish the targets, and you have to comply with the standards, with standards which are which have to be met in the organization. So the controlling helps the organization to comply with certain standards in order to done all the activities in the organization on time and consistently. Okay, the nature of controlling, and what is the purpose of controlling. So the control is actually the one of the four basic functions, and in turn has four basic purposes. When we talk about controlling, first of all, control helps the organization adapt to environmental change by scanning the environment, by spinning that what are the major new trends, and what are the new trends in the market. Based upon that, controlling helps to update with the environment and cope with and adapt to the environmental change. Secondly, it limits the accumulation of errors. Obviously, when we are it should be understood that controlling process do not start at the end of the at the end of the actually task, or at the end of any kind of activity. It's an ongoing process that with time to time the planning, organizing, and controlling process goes on and on and on and on. So when the controlling process start, but at the early stage of any kind of activity, so it helps us to find out any problem at the very start. So it helps to limit the accumulation of error. Accumulation means that the errors would not be pile up, and because at the start the errors might be very minor, but with the passage of time, when you don't correct them, they'll be accumulate. So in order to eliminate the accumulation of error, the controlling process help the organization. Thirdly, cope with organizational complexities. As there are many complexities in the organization, you have to deal with different kind of people, different kind of environment within the organization, and different kind of resources. So in order to cope with these organization complexities, organization helps to control process, control function helps the organization. And lastly, it helps to minimize cost, because when the problems are or any other kind of problem will be pinpointed or being assessed at the very start of any activity, so that will actually minimize the certain kind of cost. And obviously controlling process will help an unnecessary cost which is being accumulated in different kind of activities. So this process also helps to this function also helps to minimize cost. Now, looking into the detail of four major purposes of controlling. First is adapting to environmental change. Actually, it's very important to design a system, controlling system, which is actually very helpful in anticipating. That means to identify certain deviation, identify certain problem associated with the environment, identify certain issues which can later on affect the organization, and monitor different activities within the environment, which can have a very far long effect, we can say far, which can have a very actually a very long term effect on the organization. And obviously there are certain trends or certain kind of activities in which the company has to respond. For example, customer changing needs, or R&D procedures and R&D processes of your competitors, or many other things. So, or globalization, all these things are in the environment which the company has to respond to changing technology. All these are activities which have to be responded. So these kind of things are very much important. Then improper design control system results organizational performance below acceptable levels. So if these kind of system, if the controlling system is not properly organized or not properly designed, so obviously you cannot perform well. And obviously when if you are not perform well, you will be you will be you will be thrown back in the market, and your share would be lost, and your competitor will beat you in the market. So it's very important that you should have a proper developed control system which control deviation, anticipate problem, and find out that what kind of activities which need to be responded. Then secondly, limiting the accumulation of errors. As we have said, I have said earlier, that over the time small error may accumulate and become very serious. So it's very important to recognize the smaller problem at their earlier stage in order to avoid serious consequences in the later time period. The thirdly, coping with organizational complexities. As manager can maintain control of small organization, but it's very much complicated if your organization is very well diversified. It has different kind of product lines. They are divided into different divisions, and or if it's scattered at a large geographical area. So in that case of kind of organization, the organization structure is very complex. So you have to have a very well sophisticated controlling system in order to control the whole system, which is not very simple like the small organization. So obviously the well developed controlling system is needed in that. Then minimizing cost. When the controlling process is effectively implied, and everything is effectively controlling like the deviation, anticipating problems, all these things are very much properly identified and controlled, so it will help them to control the cost and increase the output of the organization. Okay, there are different types of controls because when in the organization we have different type of resources. So depending upon the sources, depending upon the resources you have, depending upon the things you are working with, you have to control those areas. So the areas of controls are four. That is your physical resources, control on the physical resources, human resources, informational resources, and financial resources. So what are your physical resources? Physical resources, as we have discussed in the in the first chapter, that we have different physical resources like inventory, like building, and all those things which we can see tangible assets. So all these things are very much important. So we have to have a very very rigorous control on all those activities. But as compared to your tangible asset, your short term asset like your inventory and quality are very much important. So inventory management, like proper evaluation of inventory from time to time, and proper system of inventory, placement of inventory, inventory count, costing of inventory, and ordering of inventory, it's very important. So how you have to control on that. Quality control is also very important, because we have to have maintain quality in the market in order to make our impression in the good impression in the market. So at every level of a production stage, you have to maintain the quality of the product. So you have to control different deviation regarding that. And equipment controls, because you are working with different kind of machinery, different kind of equipment, different kind of things. So you have to control the maintenance level and the production level of all these equipment, which will help you in your production process. Then secondly, your human resource. Human resource is very much important, because humans are the people who can give you extraordinary performance. So proper selection and placement, training and development of your human resource, and time to time you should see the performance of these your human resource, and their appraisal, their rewards, their punishment. All these things are very much important. And lastly, your compensation, you have to give a proper compensation to your employee in order to boost their motivation level. Then information resources like sales and marketing forecast, environmental analysis, public relation, production scheduling, and economic forecasting. So these are your informational resources. So you have to have control on all these resources. You have to see that proper time and deviation should be reduced. Then you have financial resources, because when you are working in the organization, you have lots of financial resources. And if you are working as a corporate level, so in that case you have many financial resources. So how you can manage your capital funds and cash flows, and how you can maintain your collection and payments of your debts, because it's something very much important, that you should have a appropriate level of debts. You should not go beyond that level, or you should put appropriate level of cash in your accounts, and you should not put a large amount of cash put idle in the company. So have to see that what type of financial resources should be used in which kind of activities, which will give the maximum benefit to the organization, and avoid any kind of misuse of your cash which is being used in the business. um, there are different types of control, and so far we have discussed controlling regarding different resources. But as the organization is divided into different levels, there are different hierarchy level in the organization. So these can the controlling can be done at different levels of the organization hierarchy. First one is your operational level. It's actually the operational control. It's focused on the process which transforms resources into production and services. For example, quality control. The most of the operations are done at the lower level. The lower level workers are involved in that. Operating employees are there, and the product is actually being transformed at this level. So control at this level is very much important, because you have to maintain or sustain the quality of a product. You have to provide services at a reasonable time period, and so on. Depending upon the nature of business, you have to control the operation of your business. Then there's financial control. Obviously financial control is there, and this kind of control is also there in your at operational level, because when you are indulge in cash based activities, so in that case you don't have any much issues. But once you are indulged in credit based activities, like for example providing credit to your customer, so maintaining a credit policy, it's very much important. Identifying customer which are reliable, to which the credit should be extended, and after that getting cash from them, receiving them and recording them. All these things are very much important. So financial control is important at this level, and this can be done at the lower level. But once we come up to the upper level, that you can say middle level of the organizational hierarchy, here comes your structural control. And a structural control is because this is in the middle of your organization hierarchy, and these are the people who are, you can say, have provide interpersonal role, and they are connected with the upper level and lower level of the organization hierarchy is connected with this level. So it's something very much important. So it is actually concerned that how elements of the organization structures are serving their intended purpose. So how, for example, if you are concerned with operation, so they'll monitor and see that how they are getting their targeted work, or how they are completing their targets and so on. So this is something very much important, that is called as structure control. The last one is your strategic control, and this control is done at the upper level of hierarchy, at the corporate level, and it focuses on how effectively the organization, corporate, business and functional strategies are succeeded in helping the organization meet its goal. Because it's the corporate level, it see the organization as a whole, and they see that the vision and mission statement should be accomplished. So how different different business sectors, business units and product lines are working, and how different functions are working, and how the strategies implemented by the upper level are being implemented, and whether they are getting their desired goal, getting their desired targets or not. So this is actually the most important thing, and this is done at the upper level of the organization hierarchy. Now we have discussed that we have different types of control. We have different control at different resources, and control different organizational hierarchy. But the main issue is that who is responsible for using or applying controlling activities. So when we talk about control, so control is actually a managerial function. So it is actually the responsibility of each and every manager to use controlling procedures in order to make the work or make the operations going smooth, and apply these controlling activities to monitor and evaluate each and every activity that so whatever is the plan being executed at appropriate level. And but certain times when you have large corporations, so they have a different type of controllers, and these controllers are actually perform function as a monitor, and they execute different type of monitoring and evaluation activity in order to control deviation, in order to control any other activities which can harm the organization long-term image. So these are the responsibility of a controller, because he is responsible for controlling any activities which can be harmful in the future for the organization. So as we talk about control, so control is activity in which can be done in a proper sequence, and there are certain steps which can be done while any manager can apply the controlling process. So first of all, you have to establish standard. You have to establish certain measures, or you have to establish certain categories or standards on which you can think of. For example, if you are measuring the performance of your employee, so you should establish certain standards. For example, what should be the entry time of that employee, what should be the exit time of employee, or what should be the maximum time period the manager should spend in the organization, or any subordinate should spend in the organization. Or if it is the product quality, so you can establish certain quality standards in order to measure its performance. Establish standard. Secondly, once you have established standard, then you measure actual performance. That means that once you have established standard, but the actual performance would be different from that, or might it not be different, but you have to measure actual performance. Then the third step is to compare performance against standards and see that whether the performance are done according to standards, or there are certain deviation, or they are performing well, or they are performing bad. So this is the stage in which the manager perform the activity of comparison, and this comparison done between the the current performance against the standard which are being previously established, and based upon that information we determine need for corrective actions. That if there are certain deviation, if there are certain things, or if certain standards are not met, so then we have to study certain kind of you have to see that what kind of measure you should pursue uh, in order to take corrective action. So there are three different outcomes. First one is maintain the status quo. That means if there are not too much deviations, there are minor problems, or if there are no problems, so in this case you don't have to change any standard, because these standards are working good and people are maintaining those standards. But when there are deviations, that means that the standards are not being met. That means that if the performance is not according to the quality, or the quality standards are not being met, or the certain output from machinery is lower than the established standards, so you have to correct deviations. Or certain time you have to see that change standards. That means that certain time it is unrealistic, that the standards are unrealistic. You have created a standard too much high, which is unable for the managers, or unable for the subordinates who are working. They are unable to meet that. So in that case you have to change the standards. So these are the possible outcome. Based upon the results, you can select one of the option in order to take corrective actions. Okay, when we talk about operational controls, that is actually done at the operational level. So it is actually involved in which the inputs are being taken from from your suppliers or from any other organization, and it actually gathered, and they put into transformation process, and after that they'll be converted into outputs. So it's actually a transformation process in which different resources are being utilized, and these resources are being utilized in order to transform them into certain products which have value. Mostly we can say that it's a value chain process. So how the operations can be done properly, and how we can improve our operations, and how can we control the different standards or different actions. So first of all, in inputs, when we talk about inputs, so inputs is actually in this kind of case, there is actually a preliminary control. That is, you have to select inputs for the organization, and based upon certain experience, based upon certain standard, based upon certain criteria. Because when we talk about inputs, so inputs are your human resource, your physical resources, your information resources, and your different type of financial resources. So all these are your inputs. So you have to carefully collect all these inputs, and majority of time you have inputs when you are actually manufacturing certain products, or making a conversion process. So in that case, you have to select certain kind of raw materials, certain kind of products which are very much feasible for the further production. So high quality, good quality products, and based upon their cost, based upon your cost limits. So you have to select certain inputs, and this is actually a preliminary control, and it actually monitor quality and quantity of resources before they enter into the transformation process. So second thing is your transformation process. It is a process in which the inputs are converted into outputs, and in this case the whole conversion process is being taking place, and focus is on inputs and are being transformed into outputs. That means that how we can monitor and how we can maintain the quality of the products in the conversion process, because that's the main thing, because that's something which is being done in the organization. So it should be very much focused, and you should be very one conscious while you are going through the operational process or for transformation process of the product. The last one is your post-action control. That is, as you have make the conversion, and you finish goods. So the focus is on the output from the organization system. That means that you are taking these products to the outside world. So that means that there are the distribution channels are involved, retailers are involved, wholesalers are involved. So you should have focus on outputs after they are gone from the transformation process is complete. So the whole process goes on, and in all the process you have to take feedback, and for taking feedback you will make changes, and make certain changes into your transformation process, or your preliminary control over your inputs or outputs. So in order to control different type of deviation and improve the quality of product which you are providing to the people. So that's actually the operation control. The next one is your financial control. Actually, financial control is also done at the lower level of the organization, and this is the control of different kind of financial resources of the organization. Because when you are in the organization, no organization can run without finance. You have to have finance, and the financial resources are very much important. So you have to control your financial resources, and your financial resources are your revenues, the sale which is coming from the market, and say all the sales revenues are your financial resources. Then when you put IPOs or shares, sell shares, so you will get your uh, you'll get the money, your bonds, and all these things are your financial resources. You can also get you can also get finances from any financial institutions, banks. So these are very much important. You have to have monitor all these activities, all the proper utilization of all these financial resources as they flow into the organization. And these all resources are actually being distributed among different resources, different assets of the organization. Like for example, working capital. So working capital is the operational capital, or you can say the operating capital, which is being utilized in the organization, when in which include your account receivable, your cash, your inventory. All these things are your operating capital. And your retained earnings. Your retained earnings are actually the amount of profit which is being reinvested in the business. So it is also a kind of financial resources. And flow out of the organization. That means they first of all, the organization contain their working capital and retain earning. But you have to pay certain expenses, you have to pay certain certain kind of expenditure. So sometimes it's revenue, sometimes it's capital, so you have to pay something, the amount of expenses, and your account payables, and all those things. So it's very important to control the deviation. For example, when you study finance, so you'll see that the organization have to monitor its account receivable, that is the amount which have to be received from a customer, and have to see accounts payable, that is actually the amount which you have to pay. So you have to accelerate your receivables, and you have to deaccelerate or decrease the speed of your payments by certain measures. So it will have a majority of cash available in your bank. So you have to make a certain kind of decision that will help you to retain as much cash as possible for the business utilization. So that is called as financial control. And you have to manage you have to maintain a very rigorous internal control system in the organization, in order to eliminate any kind of theft, any kind of embezzlement in the organization of your cash. Now, the other aspect of control is your structure control. It actually is the middle level control, which is being exercised at the middle level of your organizational hierarchy. And there are two types of structural control. One is your bureaucratic control, then the other one is your decentralized control. As the name suggests, bureaucratic control is actually a kind of control in which rules, principles, regulations are play a very major role. So it's a form of organization control which is actually characterized by formal and mechanistic structural arrangement. Organization use it as rely on strict rules, rigid hierarchy, and it's actually a form of tall structure. So these are actually a type of structure in which the the upper level of the organization are very much rigid on the rules and regulation. They have to maintain hierarchy. So this kind of structure are being practiced in certain organization as well in nowadays. The second one is your decentralization control. That is actually an opposite to bureaucratic control. That is an approach to organization control characterized by informal and organic structural arrangement. That is a kind of control which is more of related to your behavioral school of thought of management, because it actually emphasizes giving responsibility of to your employees and encouraging employee to perform beyond the limitation. It actually boosts their creativity. It actually want to make the employees responsible and in the longer run more loyal to the organization. So there are different type of structural control. It's up to the organization, corporate governance or the upper level of organization strategist, that what type of control is appropriate in different type of organization setting, and based upon their analysis and understanding and understanding of the whole people which they are working, they have to select the type of control they want to apply in the organization. So you can easily recognize that what is a bureaucratic control and decentralized control. So if you see the bureaucratic control, employees compliance and employees commitment, that means that goal of control approach. That means a dimension is you want to complete complete the goal. So employee, then the compliance means that they'll follow the rules and regulation given by the organization. But on the decentralized control, they are committed to what they want to do. So that's actually something very much positive when you have commitment of your employee. Then the degree of formality, that means that how formal your rule and regulation are. In the bureaucratic control, there are strict rules, there are formal control and rigid hierarchy. That means that they are strict control of each and everything. Rules are very strict, they are not being modified. But on the other hand, the degree of formality is very you can say not very rigid. That means that there are group norms, there are teams, they are working with them, working with them, there are group culture, they are helping each other, and they have a self control. They actually do their work on their own way, and they are actually controlling their own selves, and they are giving compliance. There are no problem regarding that. Then performing expectation. What is performing expectation in the both type of control? When you talk about bureaucratic control, so they're directed towards minimum level of acceptable performance. That means they'll actually lay down certain standards, and based upon that they say that this is the minimum level of acceptable performance. You have to perform up to this level. So unless you will not perform up to this level, you will be punished, or you will have penalty. But on the other hand, it is directed in the case of performance expectation, in decentralized control, directed towards enhanced performance above and beyond the minimum. That means that you will give them targets, you will give them something which is challenging. So that means that will increase their approach, and they'll try to achieve better, and they'll try to solve old problem with new solutions. So then organization design. In the case of bureaucratic control, there are tall structure and there's top down influence. That means the rules are being generated at upper level, and they are being only informed or at the lower level. But in the organization design, in the decentralized control, it's a flat structure and it is a shared influence. That means that everyone is working with each other. There is a direction, there is something which is called as commitment. So they are actually more self-regulated, self-committed, and they work with it. So there is organization design. It's a flat organization design in case of decentralized consent. Then the reward system, and the reward system is just like the scientific school of thought system, that it depends upon the performance of the person, that individual performance of the firm. But in the case of the decentralized control, it is dependent on the group performance. If group perform well, everyone will be rewarded. So that means that it will increase group commitment and collaboration and coordination among the group members. Then participation. In the case of bureaucratic school of control, it's very limited and informal, so they are not being they are not being invited for making plans, and these plans are being formulated at the upper level, and they are being only informed, and so they are, it is very limited and formal. But on the other hand, in the decentralized control, the participation is extended. They are being consulted, and the employees have their voice in any kind of plans, and it's actually an informal kind of plans which are being given, or and the control is actually not very uh, uh, bad in this case. So this means that these are being practiced, and the control is very informal in this case. They are actually complete their task on their own, because they feel responsibility. So this is your participation level, which is extended and informal in decentralized control. So as we were discussing the control over different hierarchy level, so when we talk about strategic control, this is the type of control which is being practiced at the upper hierarchy level of the organization, and these are the bunch of people who are appointed at the higher level, and might be the CEO is also involved in that. That is called as board of director is there. So these are the people who develop a long-term strategic plan for the organization, and they want to ensure that organization is maintaining an effective alignment with its environment and moving toward achieving its strategic plan, because as these are the people who make major decisions regarding resources, regarding the overall organization structure, regarding many other things. So they focus on different structure, as whatever the new plans they develop, they'll actually assure that these are properly implemented downwards, and once they are implemented, so they are properly executed, and the and the outcome should be properly be achieved. Secondly, with the help of their leadership skill, they'll try to motivate employees. They will try to achieve the targets which they have set for them. They'll equip the organization with proper technology, with human resource and information systems, in order to achieve maximum results from their people. And obviously, when they are practicing controlling activities, so they'll also see that all these resources are being properly utilized, and all the people who are working in the organization, and additionally all the departments, all the divisions, all the business units are actually working toward a common organization vision and organization mission, because it's very important that the direction should be clear enough, and all the organization structure and all the division which are working in the organization should not be self-centered, but the organization vision centered. So they ensure that the collaborate that the all the department are collaborating the same vision and collaborating in the overall strategic goal of the organization, and they want to ensure all these things can be done properly in a better way. Okay, now towards managing control in the organization, it's something very much important, as whatever the hierarchy level, whatever the different types of control, either it should be on resources, whether it should be different hierarchy level, it's sure that all these controlling activities are being performed by the managers, and these managers are the people who have certain responsibilities, certain authority. So it's very important that they should make it clear and recognize that certain things which should be practiced, you should be kept in mind while practicing the controlling activities. First of all, the first main thing, or you can say this, the first important thing is that that controlling is actually is integrating with planning. What does that mean? Because as what we are controlling, the main emphasis is on planning. We are actually trying to accomplish those plans. So by help of controlling, what we are doing is we are actually executing the planning activities. So the more explicitly and precisely control is linked to planning, the more effective the control system is, because the controlling system is actually the essence of controlling system is to complete the work according to plan. So it's something the manager has to consider, and it's something very much important. Then second thing is flexibility. As when you are considering different deviations, and when you are practicing correcting activities, and many other things are there, so you should be flexible enough, because and you should be flexible enough, and because if you are working with machines, so in that case there are certain exceptions. But when you are working with humans, so the different humans have different personalities. So in order to tackle with different personalities, the human resource, you should be very much flexible. Plus you should see that where the problem lies when you are devising your controlling activity, controlling actions, or you can say corrective actions. So you should be flexible enough to deal any kind of change, or if you are making changes or implementing corrective actions, so you should accommodate all these changes. Then third thing is accuracy. As the most of the corrective actions of controlling activity is based on information, and if the information you get is not accurate, so it will lead to many major wrong decisions. So inaccurate information result in bad decision making, and obviously inappropriate managerial action. So you should be before taking any action, yeah, before making any corrective action, it's very important that you should scrutinize the information itself, and you see the credibility of the persons, or the credibility of the system which is providing you this information. So first you should confirm the accuracy information, the information you get. Then after that you should take your managerial decision or corrective action. Then timeliness. The timeliness of taking corrective action is very much important. There are different types of control. One type of control is called post control. That is a control which actually are practiced after a certain task was completed. But when we talk about in controlling activity in management, so it's an ongoing process. The planning, implementing, and monitoring and controlling procedures are being done from time to time. So as when you controlling activities are practiced at the early stage, so obviously certain deviations are monitored, and certain deviations are corrected before any major setback take place. So it's very important that the controlling activity system should come into action at timely, or and at actually appropriate times. Then last thing is objectivity. As when a controlling system is being devised, so you should practice this system in a free and unbiased way. You should not put your personal grudges, or so personal likes or dislikes into your decision. So you should be very objective while you are practicing controlling activities, or you are devising controlling system. So it's something very much important that the manager should be unbiased, and there should be no distortion in the whole controlling system due to certain personal grudges and personal likes or dislikes.